We are recording.
That's not high expectations.
Good
evening, and thank you for joining us at the March 19th Board of Directors Workshop for MSAD 60. Let's start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Chair will now read the public input statement.
The first public input session is a 21-minute session with each person having no longer than 3 minutes in which to make a statement, but a second public input session may be held at the end of the meeting if allowed by the board chair. Each speaker will give his or her name, address, and reason for speaking. Public input is designated for district residents, but the board may grant non-residents the opportunity to address the board. Statements concerning subject matter that falls under the law regarding executive sessions, for example, matters involving personnel, cannot be made during public input. We as a community pledge to treat each other as we wish to be treated. We pledge to seek understanding when there may be disagreement. Regardless of outcomes or opinions, we pledge to move forward with respect. This is time for comments and/or questions for the board, but please be aware that questions may not be able to be answered at this meeting.
Thank you. Now we would invite our public up to make their statements.
Thank you for, is that working?
No, you have to hit the button on the bottom.
And a button on
There's a little
stand.
oval on the bottom. You can take mine.
You're running low on questions.
Sorry about that. Thank you for taking the time to hear my name is Sophie Larson of North Berwick. This is Brenna Whitney. We are the Vice President and President of the MSAD 60 Teachers Association. We're here to address two important issues. To be clear, we are speaking at this time in our professional capacity as representatives for our organization, not as individuals. On February 26th, our association sent you a letter in support of our administration in the face of extreme adverse social media climate. In your following meeting on March 5th, a school board member discussed that letter. This misinformed board member claimed that the letter was sent after a split vote of our executive board. We understand that board members were aware that this vote was made during an executive session of our association's board. As you all know, because you have received training in these matters, what happens during an executive session should never be public knowledge. For one of your board members to mention something that happened during our executive session is stunning in its audacity. It demonstrates a deep disregard of professional conduct. Imagine the uproar if one of our members publicly shared something that had been said in one of your executive sessions. Therefore, we're here firstly to note that your lack of discretion not only compromises the integrity of our organization, but that it also greatly jeopardizes the respectful relationship we have maintained thus far with your board. We also emphasize our grave concern that you are pressuring our members for sensitive information. We admonish you to maintain professional boundaries in the future and to avoid discussing association matters when you socialize with our members. We remind you that it is absolutely inappropriate for you to seek or disclose the contents of our executive sessions, just as we would never pry into or share what happens in yours. Further compounding the foolishness of this mess is the fact that whomever you talked to gave you incorrect information. As I stated earlier, the contents of an executive session are not shared publicly, nor is it your place to know that information. But I will say this, you were misinformed when you made the ludicrous claim that our earlier letter was sent after a split vote. Which brings me to the second issue I will address tonight. Our members have voted unanimously to address the concern you raised about the validity of our previous letter. So we're here tonight on behalf of our members, your staff, to reiterate our previous position, that we understand it is in your purview and not that of the online court of public opinion to oversee our district's administrative employment. We restate our support for your board's majority decision to hire Ms. Bove and Ms. Austin, and we ask that you make your support for them clear, such that they may effectively continue to govern our district and serve our students. And we especially ask you again to disregard and discourage the online vitriol in whatever capacity you can. It is negatively impacting students and staff in our district. Respectfully submitted on behalf of the MS-80 60 Teachers Association. Thank you for your time.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a statement?
Hello. Hi, my name is Mallory Prince. I live in Lebanon, and I have a son in first grade at the Hanson School and a seventh grader at the Noble Middle High School. I've also worked in the district for over 17 years as a classroom teacher, and I'm currently a physical education teacher at the Hanson Elementary School. I am addressing the budget cuts impacting the physical education, PE, and health department this year. We have already experienced the loss of PE positions and a health and wellness director. Furthermore, we anticipate an additional cut to PE and health positions in the upcoming year. Thanks to the leadership and support of our health and wellness director, Noble had consistently earned state-level Gold Star Awards for health and wellness through our Fund 210 Let's Go program. However, this position was cut 2 years ago, and currently our PE, nursing, and nutrition department has taken over this crucial role in addition to our existing responsibilities within our schools. The elimination of the health and wellness director position appears to have negatively impacted our state level recognition, along with the coherence of our policies and support for incorporating movement, health, wellness, and motor breaks for our youngest students. There is substantial evidence demonstrating a strong correlation between physical activity, balanced nutrition, and overall health and wellness, which directly translates to improved academic performance, including higher test scores. Despite this research, the Noble District continues to limit physical opportunities such as recess, additional recess, and motor breaks for elementary students K through 6th grade, while simultaneously reducing health and wellness staffing. As a concerned parent, taxpayer, and educator in Noble District, I urge the administrators and board to carefully consider the financial impact on the health and wellness physical education department. While I understand the difficulties of budgeting, I believe we should seek financial solutions in areas that do not directly compromise our students' learning and well-being. We are passionate educators and committed to our students and the district, and we welcome the opportunity to discuss this further. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have other public input?
I'm Al Leggett from Lebanon. Just want to piggyback off that, like, if we spend money on stuff, there's so much good study and research about health and kids getting out inside and running and being active to help them actually learn. To hear that that's being cut, but we're talking about $1.5 million for a go-around for a school where we created the problem during COVID. Cars are parked all over the road in Lebanon and in Berwick at the elementary schools. You're talking about spending a ton of money, but health department's getting cut. That's just stupid. Everyone here should understand how dumb that is. Our scores are in the toilet. That actually helps. Having physical education helps these kids learn. Yeah, we're talking about $1.5 million for a go-around for a problem we created. That's just dumb. The Teachers Association coming here, of course they love Audra and the administration because they keep getting money from them. Of course they're going to support them. Our school fails. We only can measure it by test scores and from our seniors. That's it. It's the only way we can measure success of this school. And by that metric, both of those metrics, we fail. As a business, we fail. So we have to fix it. The leadership, I don't blame all the teachers. There's some teachers that probably should go. Absolutely, not doing a good job. I'd say the majority are doing a great job. But when they don't have the support from the administration, they don't have the correct curriculum, they don't have a board going out and looking at other districts that are doing amazing around the country. There are plenty of districts that do amazing in this country that aren't supported at $17,000 a student. They're like 10 grand a student and they succeed. It's not money. It's leadership, it's curriculum and the will to change. We're stuck in a rut doing the same stupid stuff over and over. But we're gonna vote to increase the budget, just give them more money. It's gonna do absolutely nothing. Kids are still gonna be failing. We're gonna do absolutely nothing here at this meeting. And in the budget, we're gonna talk about who knows what, just giving more money away. But we don't focus on the real problems at the school because the majority of this board won't acknowledge the real problems at the school. They'll just say everything is fine. So I hope you guys do something to change. The budget I'm gonna encourage everyone to vote no on the budget. Stay at 47 million, try again with the same budget and see what happens. Until this board can start actually talking about real changes that we can do in this district. Make sure our kids succeed when they get out of the school. That's our job, let's do it.
Thank you. Do we have other public input? All right, then. Our first order of business tonight is the minutes of March 12th, 2026. Do we have any updates or corrections?
I had some updates that I'd shared. It was just in the other section. There was just a typo. So,
That was the 5th, March 5th minutes.
fifth minutes were good. Fifth minutes were, no, I'm sorry. You're right. March 5th.
March-
Sorry.
March 5th has a typo.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
And that was fixed.
Yes.
We also need to do March 12th.
Yes.
Right, the 5th isn't on the agenda for tonight.
They both are.
It's on the agenda that was sent by, Ms. Fleming.
Oh, not the one that was handed out then. Motion to approve. Want to start with the 5th?
Okay, motion to approve minutes of the 5th. Can I get a second? All those in favor of approving? And the motion is passed. Now we'll move to the minutes, March 12th. Do we have any additions, corrections?
I just wasn't in attendance at that meeting. Could we just note that, please? Thank you.
It's on.
Please.
It's on there. Yeah.
I missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Anything else? Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of March 12th. All those in favor? Okay, and the motion passes.
Do you need to add an agenda item for graduation?
We do need to add an agenda item for graduation. We'll have a discussion on graduation. And what would you like?
It can come next if that's okay.
Okay. Everyone is in agreement. We'll talk about graduation next.
I'll make a motion to add discussion of graduation date to the agenda next.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor of adding the item? And the motion's passed.
Around this time of year, every year, we set graduation, so you need to set that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kate.
Okay, so the proposed date right now is June 5th. So that's the Friday, June 5th, starting at 6:30 PM. So we do need an official motion for that to occur in a second vote.
Motion to approve the the date of graduation for June 5th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve graduation date for Friday, June 5th. All those in favor? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a financial summary for February of 26.
You have the revised version, I hope. This is, we're approximately 2/3 through the year. It's reflected in both the revenue and the expenses. Our remaining amount that is unencumbered and unspent is about 8%, 4.2 million. We are on track. If you look at the revenue, the percent remaining and those sorts of things, we're pretty much on track. The last few years, we've been also at 8% at this point in the year. I don't know if you have any specific questions. Oh, we did want to clarify, actually. A couple of meetings ago, we talked about electricity and how we were notified that we qualified for a lower class based on reduced usage. And what I wanted to clarify was that was based on demand usage. So we, for a year in this building, have not used more than 400 kilowatts at any one time for over a year, and that's why we qualified for the lower thing. It's not that we used lower kilowatt hours over the course of the year, so the kilowatt hours measure it over a period of time. The other is like a demand, so it's at one point. Somebody in the public had a question about that, so I just wanted to clarify for everyone if that's what that was. And the savings, again, is approximately $50,000 a year. So
You say it happened in this building?
it's for this building, yes.
We brought up 7th grade where
Yes, but it's again, over the 12 months when they notified us. So they notified us in the fall. And it's a demand usage, so it's at any one point in time. And so they felt confident after reviewing all of our activity that that was going to continue. If it goes over the 400 at any one time, they'll notify us and they'll tell us exactly when and where. And then if we do it again, they bump us back to our old rate.
a way to find out when we get close, like,
They, I don't know that there is.
yeah.
They probably can do it, right? But what I would say is if we were notified the when and where, we might be able to manage that particular situation. But at this point, I'm gonna take it for $50,000 savings and over the course of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. The next item on the agenda is employment.
We are bringing forward 3 resignations, the first being Blake Bolduc, who is currently Noble Middle School 8th grade language arts teacher, and he is getting a position closer to home. So we need a motion and a second on that.
Make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second.
We have a motion and it has been seconded to accept the resignation of Blake Bolduc. All those in favor? And opposed? And the motion carries.
The next one is Erin Foster. Erin is a teacher at Noble Middle School 9th grade writing, and she is relocating. So we need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resignation of Erin Foster. All those in favor? All those opposed? And the motion carries.
The last one is Heather Jansen, and she is currently at Noble High School teaching math for grades 11 and 12, and she is getting a position in a different field.
Out of education. Motion to approve. That's too bad. That's
We have a motion to approve. It's been seconded to accept the resignation of Heather Jansen. All those in favor? Motion passes.
That's all the updates for employment at this time.
And now we're at superintendent update.
Okay, a few things to share for this evening. Our high school unified basketball team wrapped up their season on Tuesday, the 17th, and the middle school will finish this Monday, and both teams have been very successful this season. This Tuesday, this is something new for us. So this Tuesday, there will be an all-district music festival, and that will be taking place during the school day to better incorporate all of our students in the experience. And we're excited for this new format. This typically runs after, in the evening, but this is a really great opportunity for our 4th to 12th grade students to come together. So we're looking forward to that. And then Wednesday is our district art show, and that's running from 5:30 to 7. And that is a huge year-long planning endeavor and always very well attended. So we're looking forward to that as well. And then Friday night is the Noble's Got Talent event, which is presented by the Noble High School Music Department. The showtime is at 6:30. Tickets are sold at the door for $8 for adults, $5 for children 10 and under. So it's a busy week next week.
Wow. Are the music festival and art show both in the high school?
High school.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, do we have any other topics to discuss this evening? All right, moving on. This would be a second opportunity for public input. Is there anyone who'd like to make a statement at this time? All right, then. I'm going to ask for a couple of minutes to get organized, and we're going to move into our board workshop.
Do we technically adjourn? We're moving into
Yeah.
workshop, or do we just move into a workshop?
I think we just move into workshop.
We'll just transition for a few minutes so we can get out your big binder and these are the invites for the art.
Oh. Yeah, 26 minutes. Thank you guys.
Oh,
You're in the hot seat first?
I think we're all in first.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Someone took mine. So they have our names on them.
Yours.
I have mine.
Well, by the guest.
Is there a plus one?
Yeah, this week. All right, Rhett gave me my invite. He has artwork in the show.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
I have an in.
That's why.
Maybe that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your comments.
Yeah.
And then you can see like this is.
Yeah.
One is like, no, that.
Kids are still gonna be able to see that as the parents.
Well, I know that. Like, I think they're gonna be taking pictures too.
And then
Of all the bands up in there.
it is a nightmare. Like some things stuff like that. And then you have like, you're like, you really wanted to do every,
Sure.
had kids in every band though, so.
Okay.
That was for the.
I was like, I really wanted to see like.
I know. But I think it was nice to see how, I'm excited about what they're doing. Yeah. The elementary school, because people forget, like, these kids only start in.
You done with this? I think so.
See what they can.
Yeah. Let's put them.
Even this is guys. We were lucky to have her teach all 7. They will teach all 7, and we were so excited about that.
The paperwork that was handed out to everyone last Thursday.
She was hard. She was strong, but really hard. Nash. Yeah, some working.
This is kind of like, you're going to pick my name the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. No, Gabe knew what he did, and she knew, she called him on it. She was like, "Oh, this is the mark for you, her favorite." We asked him like, how does this work for you? Like, getting away with things with your mom. He was kind of about 50-50. I was in like 4 people clips. She just laughed so hard. But she usually picks the ones that are, she was a tough cookie. She's tough, yeah, she was a tough cookie.
But she produced.
She produced, this behind there. And when you graduated, get Josh shirts in it. It's never a shame. So, look like.
Trying to be working.
8. No, it's really.
Yeah, and now you just. See who's got her life. I was never a fan either.
Is there
Ended up taking a long.
Denise did recommend that you keep them
Yeah.
because they're dated on the bottom. But do,
You can do it however you want.
I will keep them.
Sometimes people find that we've had experience where they wanted to go back and see what it was, not just what it is. That's all.
Yeah.
It's the one that we already received.
yes,
Look what I missed.
all this.
No, I did something else.
Not try.
No, we do public input. You heard me say that. If I just wanted to stand up, it's because okay.
What you were talking about.
If I just randomly like jump around, it's just, yes, my back spasming. I don't know why, it just happened home. Or like walking, and I was like talking to my mom and Jeff, and it's like, it's spasming. But Jeff rubbed it for a few minutes. But I still feel,
I mean, all the kids so far have been like.
it doesn't hurt, it just, once it's spasming, it hurts.
Yeah.
These are like big
An old secret.
You know, also
That's what it
they're
feels.
We're going to start our budget workshop with a 10-minute public input session. Each contributor will have 2 minutes to make a statement on their thoughts on our budget process and our budget going forward. So is there anyone at this point who would like to make public input about the budget? Okay. All right. So we'll go right into our workshop then.
Last week, the bulk of time we spent was on staffing. We have a lot to still cover under that subject. So I think that we continue in that way. Just for perspective, we have a tentative scheduled workshop on Tuesday. And we also have a tentative scheduled workshop on Thursday. And then those are that's the bulk of the work that we need to do. So I do propose that as we work through the discussion list, tonight, that maybe we can do a strong poll at some point so we can get some movement and some direction from the board. So if we need to create some documents, you'll have some time to do so before Tuesday. So, where do you want to start? We basically talked about those positions that were already in the budget that were removed. We did not talk about any of the proposed new positions, nor was there any final decision, no straw poll on any of the current positions and the status with which they are. So I don't know if we want to finish that up or move into the new one. It's up, we just want to make sure we're being as prudent as possible and timely as possible for you.
So I want to discuss the changes to the 6th grade structure going from single taught classrooms to an elementary model. I'm not in support of it. I think that kids are going to thrive with specialized instruction for certain classes. So I'm wondering if that was discussed last week and where we left off.
We did discuss it, but Principal Archibald will come back up.
This was Saturday. Looking for.
You ask your question again.
Yes. So, oh my God, the button on this one's weird. Okay. So we had heard that 6th grade is going to be moving to the elementary model, one homeroom teacher teaching all subjects. And I know we had been reached out, just expressing some concern about that. People not feeling like they are getting for that.
So we met actually with the 6th grade team today and we're still going through, it's still pretty new in our process. We haven't had a ton of opportunities to sit together as a staff to talk about our options for next year. So there are several options. And I think the 3 options that I know of right now, and there are plenty more, and hopefully through conversations, we can get them and then we'll filter through and figure out what makes the most sense for us. But we've talked about a team of 5 and a team of 4 at that level. We've talked about 3 teams of 3, and we've talked about also you could potentially be in that silo. And I agree with you that I've not talked to one person who's a big fan of that. And so I think that's it. While it's an option, it doesn't seem like it's a viable option, an option that's going to pass the muster. So I think that while it would work, it doesn't necessarily match what we're doing and what I think all of us at Noble Intermediate School would see as the best for kids too.
Okay, cool. So do we have, I mean, that's going to impact the staffing that we're talking about because it's either 5 or 4.
That model would meet the staffing requirements that are proposed right now.
Okay. Alrighty, and that's all I had really.
Well, I'm wondering. So we got the letter from PE and we heard from the PE teacher and some of what she is talking about, I think, because you would be losing a PE staff member. Can we talk about that a little bit about if you agree with that letter, do we disagree? Where are we at with that? Because I thought that the letter did bring up some interesting points, things that I wasn't aware of.
I don't know that I know the letter.
Yeah.
So I'll just jump in.
Sure. Thank you.
David Vargas, who is our school nutrition director, has taken over some of that work that the health coordinator had done previous to that. So I think there were 2 portions of that letter that Mallory just read.
Okay.
And the first part of that was the health coordinator is not here. So how are we matching up at the state level?
Yeah.
David Vargas took that over recently. It hasn't been all year. So he recently took that over.
And we'll continue.
And we'll continue to do so. And then the other part was the PE and the movement in classes. So we can address the PE, but also at the elementary levels, and we can have some of the principals speak to this too, but there is movement in the elementary schools, like, as part of what they're doing during the school day and the recess time and the wellness time. So why don't you talk about that specifically for here?
So we have currently right now this year, we have 2 PE teachers. And so their class sizes are doubled. So they're running probably between 40 and 60 kids. And then next year with 1, we will not run 40 to 60 kids. They will be typical classroom sizes, 21, 22-ish, I would say is probably pretty average. So we can still do it. Students will still get that. There's a few different models of schedules where students will work their way through their globals or special schedule throughout the week. And so that, I think in that globals world, that's where I think more of the elementary model comes in, where you'll have gym on Mondays, art on Tuesdays, that type of thing.
Even in 6th grade, if you're staying with that middle model.
Because we'll have 5 different globals or specials, which is what the elementary models have, where currently right now we have including the extra PE, it's 7. So the 7 gives us flexibility with the schedule. And it allows a couple different things to happen that will be, our schedule will be more rigid next year with what our timeline looks like, but we will still be able to offer those.
Sorry, same subject. How does that affect? So, because right now, full band and full chorus are part of their globals. From talking with you, that is no longer.
So
What does that look like? And if it's not happening, if a kid does both, how many times a week are they being pulled out of class and for how long combined if they're in both band and chorus?
So next year's schedule right now would have every class getting a music class. So that would be something that they got. And then if you're a band student, you'll be pulled out for a sectional and you'll be pulled out for a full band. And if you're a chorus, you'll be pulled out for a full chorus. So if you're in both, you could be pulled out of your classes 3 times, which is similar to what happens in elementary school right now. So it will not be built into the schedule, which is what it is now.
Do you know how long total per week that would be? Something you could get.
I would defer to the music department.
Was there a number of when we reduce to 1 gym teacher, if that's what we do, what would the difference be in the amount of time they're getting in gym a week? Do we know that?
So right now, I think everybody does get a gym class. Some kids have multiple opportunities. So with our semester scheduling, so if a student has PE right now this semester on an A day, they'll have it on Mondays, Thursdays, and every other Wednesday. So if you look at that semester schedule, I think we did the math. It works out to be about 5 less classes in the elementary model than in a 1 semester model.
Oh, so with the health piece being missing or being removed, the curriculum that fifth and sixth graders are getting 2 to 3 days a week right now for a whole semester. Is that stuff they don't need? Is that being incorporated elsewhere? Like, what's the plan for that?
So I'm not going to tell you that we don't need it. I think that, you know, if you look at our main integrated youth health survey, like we have seen really, some of our statistically significant increases in a positive direction are from our health department. And so I think they're doing a phenomenal job. So to say that we can cut it and there will be no loss, like that's not true. They certainly, like at the middle school where they would be, that health teacher potentially would be moving to, I'm assuming they would cover a lot of those things there. Obviously, there are kids in 5th and 6th grade that need some certain topics covered. And I think historically at the elementary school, 5th grade has been a time where a counselor or a school nurse or a principal have provided some level of puberty lessons. And usually they're definitely not going to be as thorough as what a health teacher is going to do. It's going to be sort of your brass tacks.
Yeah, I'll just be honest. This is the school that concerns me the most as far as cuts. I think 6th grade is such an important time. They're getting ready to go to the high school. I don't want to see less teachers really in the schools at all. So it makes me uncomfortable to cut this position completely. I don't know if we can just move forward with how other people feel about that.
I feel like he's got a great plan. Like there's a great plan and the teachers are happy with the ish. Well.
I guess my follow-up question would be, going into seventh grade, there are a lot of like, right, their schedule changes. I'm not going to ask this the best I can. Their schedule changes, there's a lot of standards involved and science standards and different things. Is that correct?
Correct.
So with some of these proposed changes of teachers maybe teaching a subject that is not their strongest point, how are we going to give them the support to make sure they're preparing next year 6th graders for going into 7th grade with those standards?
So first off, like the early release Wednesdays are really for this type of thing where you do professional development, you work in departments. So I think taking advantage of those opportunities is key. One of the things that like teachers will continue to have an uninterrupted prep block, which is never enough. I want to be clear that, but that's what we'll do. And we'll take, beginning of the year teacher time, and we'll make sure that we provide opportunities for teachers to get together to make the plans. We're still really early in this process, so I can't give you like a full thing, but we have professionals in our school who are really, really smart and work really hard, and they will continue to do that for sure.
We also have the director of teaching and learning that supports that as well.
Correct.
Do we have a science program, science curriculum we're using at any of these grade levels, or what are we doing for science, if that's what we're concerned about?
So we use the next gen science standards in our science teachers, and they do collaborate 612, they move up and through a director of teaching and learning. There's a variety of different resources that are sort of used, and they design units through UBD, backwards design, to make sure that we are hitting those standards. And so it's not like you don't go to Glencoe and get a science book. That's not what we have. I think it's more of a, collaborative Mod Podge of what our
Mod Podge is the part that bothers me. Collaborative doesn't, but the Mod Podge.
Poor choice of words, but
Well, I'm just saying Mod Podge.
right. I didn't mean it in a negative.
No, I know, but what I keep hearing is we teach science in the lower grades, sort of as I'm not sure how I would even describe it, but it's kind of on alternating, not your grades, but the alternating science. Well, we do some science. I remember when I was a teacher, I asked kids if they'd ever been taught science and they didn't even know what the word was. That was 20 years ago. So that was, so we have to worry about that. It's kind of, so we kind of need to address, maybe kind of make it a focus because it sounds like it is needing a little, not sixth grade, but fifth, fourth and third also you've got to get something coming up to you if you're going to do something with it. So maybe we need to be looking at that next year as a process. I like that.
May I ask while I was here, is that okay? Thank you, Ally. Just because looking at the document with the changes in professional staff, like some are going from one building to another and all, and I just don't have clarity about it. So Audra, can you just give me district-wide for our district, your proposal, are we down 7 teachers or are we staying even? Like, what is the actual over under district-wide from this year to what you're proposing for next year?
So we did go through this last week, so we.
I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
We would be down 1 teacher with all of these shifts throughout the district. We would be down 1.1 administrators. We would be up 1 custodian, and we would be up 5.6 ed techs.
With according to your proposal right now.
The proposal as it is.
And our enrollment is changing by what do we anticipate?
It's 586,
60 down.
86.
60 down as
I
well.
thought it was 80, like 85, 86.
All right, so in the 80s is our enrollment
What I remember.
going down. I just,
Enrollment.
yeah, we have a shift of students going to places, and so I think it's important for the board to recognize this is really not a major change in the amount of staffing across our districts. I mean, one teacher, one administrator, but that's being shared by a couple halves, as I understand it. We're adding a custodian, we're not talking significant staff changes. We just have to adjust how they're being used, and that's what I think we charge our superintendent with, is figuring out what the best he's proposed, what she feels is best.
Can I ask clarity with that? And I have no idea. So with the going up 5.6 ed techs, that's because we're bringing pre-K ed techs into the budget that were part of a grant. A lot of these positions on this list are ed tech positions that are being reduced, right? So I feel like apples to apples.
Can you give me an example?
Is PE that's a teacher or ed tech?
He's a certified teacher.
Okay. What about some of the social workers and intervention
They're
coordinators?
all certified as under the teacher's contract.
Okay.
The support staff contract.
Okay. Thank you.
Audra?
Yes. Ally did have her.
I'm sorry.
No, Ally-
Nope.
No, it's okay. Skip me.
Okay.
No, if you,
No, I'm.
no, I have. Currently, our budget is 9.8%. And we're looking at staffing. Doesn't look like staffing is going to change for us, but somehow we've got to get that budget down. So rather than worrying about all of the internal staffing measures that you guys are more than capable of handling when it comes to it, can we move on to figuring out how we're going to reduce this budget? Or are we going to present a 9.8% budget to the community?
That's your purview to discuss.
That's what I was wondering. So
Can get to that level.
so can we get to there and talk about how much, we asked for this. Thank you very much, Denise. If we drop it $1 million, we're at 6%, $1 million. So how can we get $1 million? Can we think about in terms of how we're going to get to at least a 6%? I'd like to go lower. I really personally would like to see a reading program introduced, which I'd like to see it drop it $1.5 million so we can get that reading program purchased and get it in place. So can we talk about how we're going to do that rather than worrying about the phys ed teacher at the at the intermediate school? Not that I don't want to worry about the phys ed teacher, because I do, but I'll do that in my own time.
Well, I think that's the question, because to move ahead, we do need some direction from the board as far as what is happening with the staffing positions as proposed. Because that counts as the overall budget that we've presented. So it sounds like it feels, and it seems like we need to have some direction from the board about those positions that we have adjusted in the budget in draft 1. before we can even move on to talking about additional cuts.
Can we talk about some of the other staff that maybe are not as essential to the operating of the school, like the fifth, sixth grade SRO officer that we brought up?
We can talk through.
And there's 100,000 there that can, we talked about, one of the things that I'm very curious about is we talked about 4 behavioral interventionists. And I want to bring it to the board's attention that we have teachers, special ed teachers, social workers, guidance counselors, parents, administrators, who should be able to handle a lot of these behavioral issues, and PBIS. So if we have all of that in place, do we really need to add 4 new teachers? Those are the questions I'd like to bring up to see if we can bring that budget down.
So, I definitely support the behavioral interventionalists. I think that we have so many behaviors going on. That's one of the major issues we're having with, kids in general ed classes and across the board. So they're doing a great job at reducing those behaviors, but we need to keep up with the momentum and not take away resources for that. And we got to free up the teachers' time to be teaching. That's the #1 priority for me. Just to address the 9.9, I have no interest in bringing that number down. I think this is already a bare bones budget for our teachers to be working with. We're not spending an egregious amount of money at all. So I think we need to, like you're saying, move on with that and just state that plainly, if that's how you feel. I have no interest in cutting from this budget. I have only interest in adding to it, actually. So. I think an Excel director, have we discussed the Excel director?
We have not, no. Okay, we did not talk about any new positions last week.
Okay, and then we had also considered the idea of a grant writer, because they're known to bring in more money than they cost. So if we talk about reducing $1 million to reduce the budget, I mean, they can bring in hundreds of thousands for the district for a fraction of the cost of their salary. So yeah, I'm not interested in cutting, but I am interested in creative ways to make more money. We need a second microphone on this.
Yeah, I know, but gosh. I'm just wondering, would it be a good use of the board's time to even just straw poll where we are at percentage wise? Like the school budget right now, I think it's 5.15% to the towns. It's like 9-something%. Do we want to straw poll where people feel that? Because then it gives us kind of leeway, or are we talking about staff within that, or are we above that? I don't know. I don't want to propose that. So if someone wants to propose that as a straw poll, I'm just throwing out the idea, just to move this forward.
Before we do that, so Mike doesn't have to sit up here all night. I just have one last question for you, and do we want to just say whoever has last questions for Mike, and then he doesn't have to sit here? Random question. Does NIS have an in-school suspension room? What happens with those kids?
They are typically in the office or assistant principal's office or my office.
But we're reducing the office by a position.
Right.
Is there a different plan in place for next year with these suggested reductions?
Not having it, we're not going to have an in-school suspension room. That's not something that, that we're doing.
I feel like if we're removing office positions, then, but we still have kids going to the office for in-school suspension, is that really manageable? And if not, I'm curious to hear the plan for that, which I don't expect you to have an answer right now.
I think that, so if you look at the behavior numbers that we shared, I think that you got, some of the things that we have in place are reducing those numbers. And it's been significantly more manageable this year than in years past, which is excellent. And it's due for sure to the talent on the team and the work that the teachers and staff are doing. When we can have a couple kids in the office and it's manageable. It really is. I think that we can supervise that effectively. Kids are getting work done, and it's not an ideal situation, but that's what happens when they're in in-school suspension.
I guess my question is looking at the discipline referrals going up from last year by 8, but the days of in-school suspension going down by 39. Are those days going down because the referrals truly don't necessitate in-school suspension? Or are they going down because there is no space for those kids, so they're kind of being sent back to classes when maybe they wouldn't have last year?
So I don't think that that's the case. I think that it's a combination of things. I'll tell you that our behavior interventionists are doing a ton of proactive work with those things, so we don't get to that level. So I think that they're doing a ton of restorative work. We've had conversations of, earning ways back to class or making amends, and sort of that restorative justice piece is happening broadly across our school. And so it's super helpful. And, I think that when you're proactive in these things, you can head things off before they get to that level.
Thank you.
Those are positions that are getting cut.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
the behavior intervention, so.
What?
Right. So there are two. And I said this last time, that would be, if I had to beg, borrow and steal to get somebody back, that would be one of the positions. But I understand where the budget is. And I think that that's something that we work really hard to be mindful of. And
Good 18, is this 18? Thank you. The 18 students, suspended number of students was 18. Did that include in school and out of school?
yes,
You had, so they were kind of repeat customers?
correct. When that number that says number of students, those are individual human beings who have been.
18
Correct.
out of the
190 something.
whatever.
Yep.
Seems like a manageable amount. Than 10%.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think
That's,
that,
it's in sixth grade.
so that is just sixth grade.
grade.
So that's the graphs that you're seeing. One of the questions that we had were, or the comments was, of course, the numbers went down because you don't have seventh grade, you have fifth grade. And so we disaggregated that. And so
Sorry,
the graphs are sixth grade
I
specific.
didn't realize that, sixth grade only. Do you have, off the top of your head, get any idea what the fifth grade's looking like? Better, worse? About the same?
It's different kids, different. So,
I just 18, 20. You don't have to if you don't have it.
so if you look on the front page of that, it tells you the same, those are the numbers that are aggregate of both fifth and sixth grade. So you can go month by month, number of students suspensions of students, 25, 26. So up to right now, we have 26 individuals who have been suspended.
It's interesting that 10 were suspended in November. And now the other months were 2 and 4.
In January.
And January coming back. Something about Christmas. The hard copies are going around. Okay, thank you. It's interesting.
Can I grab that, Nancy?
You look at,
No.
we have a team that looks at this every week. And this data right here is one of our, every week we go over it and we talk about attendance, we talk about student supports. Those exact things, when you recognize a pattern or a spike, we ask those questions and we are proactive in trying to analyze that. And we know the individuals, and so it's a little bit easier, or at least we have a better shot at trying to figure out what's going on.
Are we able to see for the next art shop, if we were to not make any staffing or classroom changes to NIS, what that would look like to the budget, including in keeping the behavioral interventionist?
Ally, you're talking about all staff? All right.
Yeah, that already.
Well, give me a minute, but I have
While you're-
everybody here.
While you're mathing, was there any more conversation amongst admin about some of the Knowlton staff, like some of the supports, or ed techs or whatnot, moving up to support that instead of just the two teachers shifting, like some of those other supports?
Yes, we did speak about that, about Knowlton, but there is another elementary school that could potentially have somebody move up instead of Knowlton School.
So would NIS be receiving
They could
support?
receive one additional ed tech.
Okay, that would,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be one Yes,
Oh, that's the name.
Where would that come from?
And then,
one of the other elementary schools. We just haven't talked to the staff member.
Okay.
So
oops. Great.
I just think, I mean, having teachers K through 8 that are certified in their own area of study is like the gold standard, you know? So going in the reverse of that doesn't seem like it's aligned with our district
it
goals.
doesn't sound like that's what they're going to be doing.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I know that, but I just want to make sure that we are staying kind of on the same exact path.
Can you explain a little bit more what you mean? I don't have a clue what you mean.
So it had been proposed, and I know it was kind of circulating around that they were going to the elementary model, which would be one homeroom teacher teaching all classes. But that's not looking like where it's going. So now there's kind of two different options for team setups is what I'm gathering.
So I think there are 6 positions we're talking about at Noble Intermediate. Approximate cost 540,000.
And can you list those?
So we have a sixth grade staff teacher, classroom teacher. We have a PE teacher. We have a health position. Intervention coordinator. Behavior interventionist. And an administrative assistant.
So if they were going to stay at the intermediate school, I keep it. I'll just speak loudly. Can you hear me okay? We would have to then replace the high school because they were moving up to the high school. So now we're looking at increasing the intermediate budget by $500,000 and adding $500,000 to the high school budget
Some of
for another $1 million.
some of those positions potentially, and we can have Principal Dufort just a little bit about that.
Can I real quick just follow up to what we're talking about here? Can I have that?
You can keep it down there. I can speak up.
I just want to make sure. Okay, so if we were to just keep the additional 6th grade teacher, I think we talked about this during the first meeting, but how small would your class size be at that point?
21. I believe it's 21, and then with the cut is 23. So 22, 23, so it's 2021,
Yeah,
depending, or 22 and 23.
okay, that's very high, in my opinion. Yeah, so if we were to keep the 6th grade teacher, keep PE teacher, keep both interventionalists, what are we looking at there? Because the health position is already being covered by Dave Vargas, and the administrative assistant, I assume if you tell me you don't need that, you can survive without.
So the health teacher isn't covered by David Vargas. David Vargas is doing the wellness. He's not doing the health.
Correct.
So tell me again, what positions?
So the 6th grade teacher, PE teacher, then let's include the health teacher, and I guess the only person we're taking out is the administrative assistant at that point. It's not gonna make a very big difference. What are your guys' thoughts on these positions being cut? I mean, we have to make.
Share mine. I'll try to speak loud, then I speak law. I appreciate his budget going down, and it sounds like the new concept is going to be more like a pod situation. Like that's at the high school, right? Where there's like teams of 4 and this teacher teaches science and this teacher teaches the reading. And I think that works for a lot of students, and you get the experience of moving classrooms and you get the experience of longer classes.
23 kids in a class is a ton.
I have this projected and it says Noble Intermediate 7 at 20, 5 at 21, and 6th grade is 6 at 20 and 3 at 21.
Is that with,
That's what I had too.
that must,
Those reflected my notes too. Is that 18, 19 without it, 2021 with?
even 21, I mean, it's still a high class size.
But they're older kids too. So it's like 21 kindergartners is different than 21 6th graders to teach.
I would like to keep that 6th grade teacher. I mean, at the bare minimum, and the behavior interventionist. I think those two are absolutely essential to keep.
Correct with that 19 and 21. So boy, my last.
That's with or without this person.
18, 19 with
18 to
everything.
19 with current staffing.
Okay.
2021 with a cut.
I mean, the smaller the class size, the better it is for the kids, no matter what. That's always going to be true.
I understand.
So I think we're cutting a lot from the school. I know it doesn't, you know.
We know current class sizes for fifth grade right now.
It's in our packet somewhere.
We don't do it current.
It might be in the minute packet, probably, yeah.
They're 18 and 19 in fifth grade right now.
Thank you.
Am I wrong to think like last year when you changed all the fourth graders in, like we moved the fifth and sixth grade, up, that there was no cuts to that school? So we just, I don't want to say throw the kids in there, but so we didn't make any adjustments to the current fifth and sixth. So this year we actually know what we're doing with that school. Right? Is that?
Last.
I'm coming out from, last year,
We
but,
did have some staff
Yeah.
follow the seventh grade.
okay.
So do you want to talk about what came up for fifth grade and what went out for seventh grade?
Sure. So seventh grade, we sent the seventh grade teachers and a behavior interventionist.
I'm just thinking there was two PE teachers, but now you're like, well, we really don't need two PE, because we just,
So I want to, like, and again, it's really tricky. Like, I don't want to say we really don't need it. Like there are some losses that our school is going to take on. So we will not have bar at our school next year because of this lineup. So I think that is a thing.
That's a big loss.
It's big.
We won't have art?
Bar, building assets, reducing risk.
Say PBIS though.
Sorry.
So PBS and bar are different. They work the same idea, same goal. So we're one of 5 schools in the country who are middle school accredited bar, school of excellence. So it's again, it's definitely something coming into the budget that has been a cornerstone of what we do. And we're in a spot. I think everybody here knows that we are looking for not what we want, but like what we need. And I think when we presented the budget, we were looking at how can we open the doors in the fall? That's what we're looking to do.
Like, this has been my issue since we looked at this. Your enrollment is going up significantly, but you seem to be taking the biggest number of cuts. Am I wrong? Am I missing something here?
We are getting 2 additional teachers in fifth grade. So we'll be at 12. So currently we have 20 classroom teachers. We'll have 21 classroom teachers next year.
Well, I just want to go on record saying we have been leaders in the world of bar and it has had success. I would like to do what we can to hang on to that for the work that's been done on that. I also am not in favor of getting rid of the behavior interventionist that you'd like. Well, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I think from my perspective, the biggest concern I generally hear about from the public is bullying in schools. And I think you've made some really impressive improvement, and to just sort of throw that out the window at this point, I don't want to be in the seat making a decision to do that. I would like to see that stay. Yeah.
Can we take a straw poll of who would be willing to vote back in the sixth grade teacher and behavior interventionist?
Can I ask a clarifying question? The behavioral interventionist is moving to the high school, right?
In a different position,
Yes.
but yes.
This is a person, so I hate this question, but regardless of where they are, is the impact of the budget, does that change? Like, are they moving to a different pay? Yeah, okay,
No, it's the teacher scale.
okay. If they didn't go, what impact would that have to the high school?
While we're waiting, can I ask another question? So that 6th grade teacher position, is that person going to another?
6th grade was a riff, wasn't it?
It's not mine. It's right.
we have a long-term sub in the building right now in a position.
Right. We had
So,
multiple 1 year only positions.
okay.
So they will be open again. And so, that AJ and I work together a lot. If there are places where people can land, we work really hard to do that.
So, and Lauren, I may not have heard your question. So and Mike, you and I have talked, we talked about like the school counselor.
Correct.
So we have a retirement in our school counseling department that's going to open up a position. So it won't be working in that capacity. We have a total of 6 school counselors for the 1,275 students that we currently have. 4 at the high school level, 2 at the middle school level is how so the day-to-day for the person that, Mike and I are talking about, their role will shift to being a school counselor in sort of the 2-grade school that we run on the east side of the building. If that makes sense. So, the role will change into something that became available due to a retirement and us shifting within our internal. So we wouldn't be like, I guess, when you asked that question, I was like, we're not getting a behavior interventionist.
I guess my question is, if we said, Mike, keep that person, are you then still hiring and you need to add someone to your?
I think we would need to
Okay.
replace, yeah. And again, I know it's semantics and I truly am not trying to be, but we would just be replacing the retirement, but we existing, if that makes sense.
AJ, could you speak about the other positions? If the health position stayed at Noble Intermediate School?
Yeah.
What would happen for you?
Exactly. So I think in school, to kind of answer your question about, I don't think we would have to add it twice, because if Mike kept them, the way I would look at it is that their salaries don't come up. So yes, it would go up at that building, 500 and some thousand.
But you wouldn't be.
We would hire that because we've already budgeted for it in expecting to accept those people coming up. So that money has moved with those people. So if the money stays, the same pot of money that we currently have budgeted, proposed, using that verbiage, we would just hire, like we would look to hire. And I think we would have to hire because at this very moment, we're looking at next year, teaching health to 7th grade, 8th grade, and 10th grade in our building. And as of this moment, we have one certified health teacher in our building. And we really need 2 to offer, health for everyone. And that's one of those things. And I think I had said, it's really important. Like we don't, especially at the middle school level, we don't offer a ton of things. And I think that's okay. But it's really important that what we offer, we're able to offer to everybody. And it's okay that it's not a million choices. I guess I'm not of the mind that a middle schooler needs a million choices and to be checking off a schedule like a senior in high school might. But when we have something, it's really important that everyone can take it so we have that equitable experience.
All right, so just following back up, can we do the straw poll for the 6th grade teacher and behavior interventionist remaining in 6th grade?
I just ask a quick clarifying question for Mike, because I think this did come up, and just to get clarity on this, what do you need to run BAR?
So one of the things that's a key piece of BAR is our big block meetings and our community connect meeting. And so big block happens during a team meeting time. So this year, students have 2 globals a day that they go to. And so one of the globals is a prep block. The second global is a team meeting block. And so we cannot have, BAR has to operate when there is an additional time in the day for teachers to not have students so they can meet. So I cannot take their prep block. It's really sacred. It should be. Can't take that. And so that's why we're running 2 globals. So really, if we're going to run BAR, we really do need those extra global positions. So the health and the PE, maybe not the 6th grade, but the global positions are really important because that helps us spread students out to then give us an extra block in a day where a team of teachers can meet.
Thank you.
So to clarify, to have that happen, you'd have to go back to a similar with the two globals, which means that you would need to support a health class and to support a PE class or larger PE class. And then would that put full band and full course back
Yes,
in and have less pullouts?
correct.
If you,
Wow, you could be loud.
if you have two globals in the course of a day, how many academic classes do you have in the course of a day? Doesn't that cut them back pretty tight?
Yeah, our schedule's pretty tight. We have 5 academic classes. So classes right now are about 48 minutes, 51 minutes apiece, which really age appropriateness, I think it's pretty close to the threshold of what you get over an hour, it's a little too long. Like there's always a sweet spot. I think when we're on the lower end of the sweet spot, but we're there.
Mike, so the teachers obviously have a prep every day, right? 5 preps in the week.
Yeah.
How many times do they have the big block meeting? Is that once a week?
Each team has it every other week.
Okay, so every other week. So they have 5 teaching blocks, 1 prep, so that's 6 blocks in a day. And then every 2 weeks, I'm assuming one of those other 5 teaching blocks is a big block.
Correct. No.
How many teaching blocks are there actually in your schedule per day? Are there 7 blocks of time?
There are 5 teaching blocks per day.
Blocks of time.
7 blocks.
There's 7 blocks. Okay. So they have 5 teaching blocks, 1 prep. What's the other block?
That's a team meeting time.
So if I was a teacher in the 5-6 building, I have a team meeting time every day, 5 days a week,
Correct.
in addition to my prep.
Yes, except on the weeks that you have bar.
Why aren't we carrying PBIS up through the 5th and 6th grade as well? I mean,
Yeah.
We are.
we're doing bar and PBIS?
Right now, 5th grade is currently using PBI. Go ahead.
We're all using PBIS. PBIS is about common language, common expectations, really pro teaching, like overall expectations. Like it's really around that. Bar is different than that. It's like bars around creating or helping kids identify characteristics in themselves and their community and environment that help them be more successful or make healthy choices or responsible choices, things like that. And that's through positive connections with adults. And so in these big block meetings, we are looking at every student and trying to find their sparks and then coming up with goal-focused action items to help kids be more successful. And I think that with our data, you can see, and that's why we are recognized as a leader in the country with bar at our age level. We're doing it. It's worth it. It really does a nice job.
That was at the 7th and 8th grade level. How are you doing 5th and 6th? Does it transfer down to 5th and 6th?
Yep. So we have been having, like in 5th grade, we're calling it it's basically SAT, student assistant team, and we meet once a week with that group and go through the same process, similar process.
I do have a question. And it's not going to be a popular one. Looking at the Department of Education guidelines that we got recommendations for 5th and 6th grade, a 17-to-1 classroom is the recommendation. For an administrator though, it's 305-to-1. And you are at 430, looking at getting 62, which brings us to 492. Is that right?
The 430 is where we'll be. We're currently at 368.
Okay, so 430 is, but the state recommendation is 350-to-1. So I'm curious why we're talking about bringing elementary down to 1 administrator, but we're not looking at it for this level. And I would much rather see smaller classroom sizes because I do think that directly correlates to better test scores and better learning. But we have to get rid of something. Like we can't just keep adding. I feel probably opposite of you, Ally, and I'm sorry about that, but we are just not in a position to have everything that we want. So, and I know that's a hard question and it's uncomfortable to ask, But when I'm looking at it, to me, that seems like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't we think about at least either eliminating the assistant principal or at least bringing it down to part-time?
So I would say that like when we have these conversations, there's not been a topic that's off limits, right? So I think that open, honest conversations, we have them. And they're passionate and honest and not always comfortable. So I appreciate you asking or making uncomfortable statements. That's what we do. And so the budget that, like where we are, the budget that you have seen from Noble Intermediate School, like that, I think can make it so that our students can come in and do fifth and sixth grade pretty similarly to what's happening. Maybe not. They can come in and do a good job. If you were to take an assistant principal away from that school, and it'll be the biggest of the elementary schools, I believe, at least top two. And there's a lot of work that happens with the assistant principal. And those are things that when you're a student or you're a parent who needs to get some information or have something addressed and you take an assistant principal out, like you get rid of that. It's the most important thing that you're talking about. And like, I don't know what the cost per $100,000 on a tax bill, but if, let's say it costs like $30 a year or something like that, it'll be worth your $30 a year to talk to somebody when you need to talk to them. I don't know. And I'm throwing out round numbers and weird numbers, but I think that the assistant principal is really, really important in that building for a ton of reasons. Like she does a lot of work and stuff that if it didn't happen or got spread out to different people would not be as effective. And you would be getting more phone calls from people pretty frustrated with their experience.
Even going down to part-time, which we've done to all the elementary schools.
Yeah. I mean, she works wire to wire. Like the stuff that she would not be able to do would be impactful.
I do feel very much the opposite. I feel like townwide budgets, education gets the shaft 99% of the time. And we have to start prioritizing education for our kids. If we want this to be a successful district and a desirable district, we have to get more competitive with other school districts. And a lot of that comes from how much money you're putting in. Not 100% of that. Well, a lot of resources are paid for with money. And we need these things. So I don't think we should be cutting. I think we're on the third meeting now. And I think we all need to decide how we're moving forward with this. So do we want bar? Is that something that's a priority for us? Should we take a straw poll on that and what that includes? I want to see some like forward motion on this budget right now.
Okay, so Ally has asked for a straw poll in regard to bar. How do people feel about that? Would you be inclined to make adjustments to put that back in the budget?
Let's get a number for what that would entail. That would be PE, health, interventions, sixth grade teacher or not?
I think we would need the return of both globals
Right.
specifically.
Yeah.
Correct. I think that's at a minimum,
Okay.
that would be that.
And what is that number?
That's approximately 176,500.
So
So you wanted, if I were to add that back in, what does that do to the budget?
You do have a document.
You can see it.
Okay.
Go the other way.
That goes to 5.51 to expenses, 10.48 to school, 10.52 overall. And it's a difference per 100,000 of approximately $6 per 100,000.
okay, so we're talking $6 for 100,000 for so many more resources for our sixth grade kids. So I want to at minimum.
Or discuss that one item. Let's not just one item. Let's discuss it. Let's drop it. Can we do that?
I missed what
Can we discuss that one item without doing anything else and then straw poll? It's not an official vote, but it's a straw poll so that we kind of know
We're
direction.
talking about bar.
Yeah, talking about bar.
Then I
Mike,
don't need it. I can speak up. You can hear me okay?
you gotta speak up.
I'm
up so the lady
speaking
knows.
up. You got it? Okay. When you put bar back into NIS, you're going to be doing 2 globals a day. We have some real significant issues with some of our academics at the previous middle school, which is now are we prepared to do 2 globals a day and take that time away from academics, reading and math?
Can the board just discuss this? Is what I'd ask.
I'm sorry, I was looking at you, so that was my fault. But
Can Mike answer that question? Is it going to take significant time away from academics?
It is academics.
I would agree with that.
It is. They are directly correlated.
Come on.
Sorry.
Mike.
I think that this year, our test scores at our school are going to be better than they've been. I think that we're on a rise right now. I think that we're rolling, but I agree. I would say that the arts and the extras are super important to kids.
I mean, my daughter right now, math is her weakest subject. This year, they're working on timing in music class, which is all fractions. When you disaggregate her data for her NEWA test, fractions was the only subject that she was way above state expectations in. So, and the rest of them, she was also, but she was killing it in that one.
Just understanding that running the bar, program, I didn't realize that 2/7 of every, the impact, 2/7 of every day is non-core academic. We call it core academic program. My feeling is I want to prioritize a gold standard reading program, knowing that a gold standard reading program is probably somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000. So if I was choosing between a gold standard reading program that would impact all of our elementary classrooms or bar, I'm going to pick the gold standard reading program. And I'm only going to vote for a budget that has that in there. So one way or another, that has to go in. So we can either increase the budget 600,000 or reduce it 600,000 to make it happen. I'm just a no. Like at some point we have to pick. We as a board chose when we negotiated the contracts last year, we approved those contracts knowing that it was what the increase is, a 6% when you include compensation and benefits. We've caused the stress that we have now. We have to choose staff or we have to choose compensation, or the third option is to increase taxes at an astronomical level. You pick your difficulty. That's the truth. I'm not yelling, I'm just speaking loud so I can be heard. That's all. I'm sorry.
I would say the state also contributed to this with the $700,000 requirement over and above last year, just for valuation. So that was not something we could control, but I just wanted.
And that happens regardless, so what we could control, I was talking about what actually we are in control of.
Mm-hmm.
We were in control of the choice we made. We made the choice. Now we're dealing with the poison.
Well, it's
But the increase to expenses is just over 5%. So I just want to give that perspective.
I think everyone on the board understands the ramifications of the choices we made last year. But at the end of the day, you have to prioritize where are you spending your money every year. So yes, like believe me, not well off. $300 is a big difference to me every year. But if I'm going to spend it, it's going to the schools because my kids are the best investment I can make. And it is, we can't lose this program. Like we have the principal of the school telling us we should not lose the program. It's one of the best things about our district, really. Yeah. Can we take?
So let everyone speak if they want to.
Yeah. And more.
Can I just say too, I think choosing to give teachers raises that are not exorbitant wasn't an outrageous decision. I think we do for teachers what we need to do to keep them here. And I resent the implication that we were frivolously giving people a bunch of money and now we've got to face the music. We really did what we had to do. And I hope in some ways we can do better so that we make sure we are able to keep good teachers if we want our test scores to go up.
And if that $600 reading program is important to you, which it's definitely important to, I think,
Can we
everyone.
allow everyone to speak? I'm trying to move this along. Like, I want to hear from
Is
everybody. If
anyone
anyone wants
else
to speak
interested in speaking right now?
on this one issue.
I'm torn. I don't know that I have a yes or a no. I think that I can see, well, I struggled with it for fifth graders. I can see the benefit to having 2 globals a day. I think to have kids not being pulled out for band and chorus major and just to be pulled out for their lessons, I think the more that puts way more kids in a classroom during the day. I don't know how many current fourth graders are going to continue with music, but they have, it's an astronomically high number of band and chorus kids that they have. So for all of those kids, or for a solid chunk of those kids to be pulled out 3 times a week, a lot to be 2. I like that benefit of putting bar back in. I love putting the program back in, but I also love the direct benefit it would have to the students beyond what bar does for the school. It will be a tough sell, I think, for a lot of current fifth graders. You go down to 1 global a day next year. They might write a letter about that and share it to the board. But I can see both. I don't hate the 1 global a day for the upcoming fifth grade, but I have seen how well it does work. And I can see the impact that it's had, at least on my kid, for being pulled out for his band specific lesson this year during a core class. And so thinking that could be happening 3 times. And we're looking at numbers and data and test results. If we can do something to keep kids, to reduce pullouts, my vote would be for that.
Which, to be clear, would be a 2nd global.
Yes. Right, is that how that would translate to real life? Okay.
They would be getting more instructional time because of the amount of band and chorus kids we have. Yeah.
They would miss out on less, I guess I would say.
Yes. Good way of phrasing that. Yes.
My personal feelings on it is that they're academic. I can yell. Trust me, I can yell. The longer period that they have an opportunity to stay within their core education is going to be more important than pulling them out for some of these other things. Don't get me wrong. I have a daughter who's very artistic and another who's very musical. So those are important aspects. We did that after school. So I think the core, schools are for core education more than anything. So the longer time class period to me is more important.
I don't disagree with that train of thought. I think the challenge is the current population of today's kids, the more time sitting in one room learning is less effective than activating their brains in multiple ways. Like and I'm not a teacher, so please feel free to, if you have data or anything to back this, but I think you can force them to sit there for an hour and a half with one subject, or you can have an hour and then have them go to a global or wellness or whatnot and get more out of that 1 hour because their brain is being activated in other ways. Would you? I don't know. I feel like that's what I see as a.
I think all kids are a little bit different. And so, but generally I would say, yes, I think that this age group benefits from the moving, the just movement, different ways to think.
And I think this is like daunting because this is the first one we're talking about today and it seems like the biggest impact to the budget. But I think if we're talking about the whole budget, I think this is the majority of where we're going to want to see increases. I mean, I know Josh was mentioning a reading program, but hasn't been proposed in this budget. But I don't know of any other cost centers that we're looking for such a significant increase in. Do you guys have any other cost centers that you want?
Or I guess that's a good question. Do we pause this conversation and any of the things that have come up? I know you mentioned the SRO officer. I know I mentioned the Math coaches, I'm wondering about the middle school, high school music position being added in. I mean,
I only had a couple. I have Excel director.
yeah, so I guess do we want to table
Hi. Well, not necessarily.
and look at some other things?
I think just to get Excel director and then a behavior interventionalist at North Berwick, MD, yes, was also one on my list. Neither of those are even close to what these positions would be to keep bar. So, and besides that, I really have very little else that I am looking to add.
So how long is a block of education?
Like of the 7 blocks,
Correct.
I believe they're 47 minutes. Depends on the day. Wednesdays are different. And it depends, like we added in passing time, so that there's complications to that, but I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, most of what was shared to parents does not include passing time, but it was an hour.
Was an hour
Yeah.
for each block.
Mm,
That's a long day. When you take out lunch.
depends, I guess it depends on each.
We're 46 minutes.
That's what I was thinking, 46.
In actual classroom?
Flex a little bit longer.
It's a real short.
One classroom to another. So they have about 40 minutes of instructional time.
Per block.
What is the
You're not sitting
block?
down at a desk and immediately getting
Oh,
into it. Okay, you've got settling time. So you're talking about 40 minutes.
Yeah, let's just.
Maybe stop polling. I don't even know.
I don't know that we're making much progress here, folks. I apologize for jumping in here, but I'm not comfortable taking the current budget.
The 9.8% to the community, 9.8% to the community. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
On Social Security, mine
Agree with you.
was 3.2%. So there's a considerable delta there. And I have to be mindful of the older people in the community as well as the young people.
I think it's fair. I'm sorry, can I? It's.
Let her finish, you know? Nancy?
Middle of the thought.
I was talking to Kate.
And it's just, I just want to put that out there, that I don't think this budget will pass as is. And we're talking about adding positions that I absolutely love. I would love to have that for our children. But the reality is that people cannot afford it. And I think we have to be a little bit realistic about what we're taking to the taxpayers.
I think we need to put pressure on lawmakers by doing what we need to do in these rooms. They need to be paying people with Social Security more. They need to be aligning with what things cost. This is not, if we keep giving in to this, then it's going to keep getting worse for our students. It's going to keep getting more and more off what it really should be.
That doesn't change the fact that it's still a 10% tax.
Yeah.
And that hurts, that you can lose your house over taxes. The town can take your house after 3 years of taxes. They take your house. You get nothing for the house that you've been living in for 40 years. And they take it for taxes. So I'd like you to look some of those people in the face.
Well, I think we need to be using our vote in other arenas to work on that, because people are not
This is the
struggling
arena-
because
this
of
is
their
the
school
arena
tax
we
bill.
have.
People aren't getting kicked out of their house just because of their school tax bill. It's a very,
They are getting kicked out of their houses by their taxes.
that
By
may
their
be
taxes.
true.
In
They're also,
Lebanon,
there's an issue with what they're making,
in
right?
Lebanon, it's 80 cents, 84.
Can I do a point of order?
dollars.
Can you guys have that conversation on your own time? I think you did a really great job with your budget. It was thoughtful and it was a difficult decision to make, but I trust your judgment and I think we need to at least make an effort to try running your school with the budget you gave us, my priority is also the literacy curriculum. I don't want to pilot. I want to put that curriculum in the hands of these students. And I think it's possible that your teachers may need some of that extra time if we are giving them a new literacy curriculum to have time to familiarize themselves with it. So I really think we have to move forward. Thank you for saying what you said, because I agree with it completely. We need to take a straw poll and move on to another budget.
I'm not sure what the straw poll is. Are we gonna, is the straw poll to put back in?
Should we start it, like, take 5 steps back and do a straw poll to see who would like to, not how much, but who would like to see the budget go up, remain, go down? Is that a good starting point?
Yeah.
Kind of get an idea of where everyone's at?
Yep.
Would be in favor of adding monies to this budget.
It depends what it's for.
Yeah, it depends what it's.
That's fair.
Or that's not working for me, but I
Yes.
appreciate.
Be comfortable with 9% going to the towns. Can we, or whatever it is, can we ask that? It would,
Can I make a comment? Sure. So I agree with Kate. However, every time we cut this much out of the budget, we go to the public meeting and it gets put right back in. So part of this isn't what I want, it's what is important to people in the district. And some of these things I think are gonna be. So I totally respect where you're coming from. I just think we can make some really draconian cuts here. And I suspect we're gonna be sitting in a budget hearing and it's gonna get put back.
And I think it speaks volumes to what we have as a vision for the board, for us to cut, just to have it added back in by the will of the people, like it has the past 2 years. We have a vision for the school. The vision is for it to be the best. It's not for us to have the cheapest taxes. If it's $300 a year, it's $300 a year, 500.
300, I mean.
We have to move forward somehow. So how do we do that? This is my first time here.
That's a good question. I'm kind of,
So we'd want a straw poll about putting bar back and I think then we can move forward.
Yeah, and it's more than just bar. It's two.
Oh.
It's, well,
Yeah,
bar.
bar.
Because of
bar, you have to add those positions.
have two extra, the two extra
Nancy,
specials.
We came to a meeting on Saturday and I was impressed at how much, there's still work to be done. The budget is still high, in my opinion, but the intermediate school cut, the administration cut. Why are we arguing with the recommendation of our leaders? And why are we putting all of this back in again when they've already said, we can get by, we're still high? Correct me if I'm wrong, Audra, but I think we're here to attempt to see if we can bring this, we all know this is going to be a hard sell to the communities. So I think we're here in an attempt, and I saw Audra give us information, or Sue or somebody, on why we don't need a full-time administrator. I hear Mike telling us he can get by with a whole bunch of less teachers. I think we can get by with a few less of other ones because of the circumstances, but I heard you say we need to cut. I didn't hear you say those words, but that was the impression I had, is we need to be working towards bringing this budget down and making it clear to the community that we're all working together to try to keep fiscal responsibility and academic outcomes is what we're looking for. And that's what we're trying for. And I say, I don't know what the straw poll is going to be, but I don't understand why we're not paying attention to what our administrators told us. It's the first time I've seen that big of a kind of a adjustment to staffing. So I
think if we're paying really close attention though to what's being recommended, we hear that there's a number we can get by with, but nobody wants a child at a school that's just getting by. Nobody wants that for their kid. They want a school that is thriving. So yes, he can get by with this. Getting by means you're struggling, you're pushing, you're having issues when teachers are out and absent and go on maternity leave and all of these things. And then there's a thriving school. Why would we set them up for bare bones? Like, why? There has got to be, We have to invest in these kids. There's a reason people aren't moving to Maine, because there's no young people staying here to take care of the aging people.
Yeah, I looked at numbers. I spent a week looking at numbers. I'm blind. But I saw 3 districts or 4 or 5, I think it was 5 districts in York County where the numbers are going up. So we do have people moving into the state. We just don't have people staying in ours right now. We need to do something. And I think we need to be pretty drastic. I really think we need to, personally, we need that reading program.
So one thing I just want to give an overview. Last year, the year before, and this year, our recommendations have been painful. And if we keep on this trajectory, when we're sitting here next year, we're going to bleed out. That's the level with which we're at. And while our administrators did a great job looking at their schools, and there are a lot of sacrifices, it was a well thought out, even though some of it is unpopular, some of it may not be ideal. It is something where we ended up, where we feel that we can still provide a very strong educational program for our students. If we have to continue this next year and the year after and the year after, you're going to be hearing different wording from us. And knowing that we're going to still have to make those decisions, that's when we're going to start gutting things, right? We're chipping away right now. We're able to do what we can do. We have very strong staff able to carry some of this through. But, until the 279, until we get some of that fixed, the valuation, there's a lot going against us. Enrollment, all of those things. And so we're mindful of that. So we provided with you all the best that we could based on what we know we need to operate, knowing that there, we see people, we see positions, we are, nobody wants to lose positions. Nobody wants to lose teachers. Nobody wants to lose staff. But we still feel we're able to offer a good comprehensive program with what we are putting forward. We also know that this number, when you look at it, historically, when you look at the board and what the board works through, this number is higher than what you have had in the past. And so while we presented this number to taxpayers, we know there needs to be further discussion about, what if we do this? How would that impact this? Or what would do this? So I just want to make sure that it's not just getting by. We have incredibly creative thinkers and staff that are able to really work through things and target hard things and work through it. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. But what I'm saying to you is this is different than what next year is going to look like, and we can do it now. That's what I want to say. And obviously it's your, you adopt the budget. It becomes your budget. So you need to be comfortable with it. But what I'm saying is our first draft was our best approach to get it to this number. So you then have a way to work. So I just wanted to say that.
I'll make a final comment about this, but to my point, so we're sort of from your school, from taking away what the public put back in. We're sort of specifically, that money was put back in to address behavior. It's working. It's addressing what I see as the biggest public comment, ignoring all the other chaos on social media right now and personal attacks on me. It's what I see that means the most to me, that if kids are feeling comfortable at school and functioning without having to worry about behavior problems around them, that's what that money was put there for. It's working, and we're essentially taking that away.
Could you talk about those positions? So one was a coach for staff. That position was taken out last year. So then we had the 3. Go ahead.
So there were 3 total positions put in. There was 1 coach and then 2 behavior interventionists. So last year, the coach was removed, so there's no longer a coach. And so this year, we've had our 2 behavior interventionists, unbelievable talent. In the proposed budget, there's 1. And being said too, is when 3 years ago, we had 2 behavior intervention folks. And then one, we're going to have one going forward. And then to your point, the public asked to get this problem solved. And so we put in those 3 positions. And so really we're like net with behavior, we are right where we were 3 years ago with those positions, but the shifting has worked out, and it's a roundabout way. And there's been a lot of cuts at the school over the years. In the last 3 years, been a lot at Noble Intermediate School.
Just want to remind everybody, I've worked with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all of my life, almost all of my teaching career. And there's a huge difference between 7th graders and 6th graders. So, and I said again, last time I talked, I was pretty impressed with what you did with those 7th graders. But I don't think we're not talking the same caliber of wonderful children when we're talking 5th and 6th as opposed to 7th and 8th. I think
6th and 7th before.
6th and 7th, well, 7th graders is what I'm talking about. Now they're up here with AJ. So they're just made of a different cloth for a while. And when they settle, but you've got a lovely group. I mean, those 5th and 6th graders, I mean, I don't know if they've really turned all that strange, but they were wonderful back in the day.
For me to keep this program is $6 every 100,000 taxes. Like that is not, seems like not worth it to cut from there. For our average house in our area, that's like $36 a year.
About $600.
Wait,
That would be the high end, actually.
is it $6 on top of $100 per 100,000?
Yeah.
And that's Berwick. I only.
I know, I
asked-
can't do all 3.
I just
I
want to
know.
make sure
Thank
that was the high number.
Berg was 99, Lebanon was 97. I rounded off to 100, it's easier.
Like $36 a year to the average taxpayer to keep.
You keep going round and round and round. I know there are a lot of issues. I mean, I would love to talk about implementing a reading program. That's my absolute top priority. But I don't know if the majority of the board wants to entertain that conversation or not, right? Because if the majority of the board doesn't want to entertain that conversation, then it doesn't happen. And so that's what I'm kind of looking for, like straw poll, do we want to entertain the conversation or not? But that's just an idea.
Before we do that, you may not have this, but in years past, I feel as though administration has gone back, relooked at the budget, and we're often presented with a sheet of like, we really took a deeper dig, cleaned up some numbers, figured some stuff out, and here are some more ways to save money. Do you have one of those documents that you can share with us before we get to yeah, like we would love to see that now.
Do your magic, Denise.
Go back.
So we don't have a document tonight for that, but I think this night is right for the next meeting. If we're meeting, I assume on Tuesday, for us to generate one of those. But I think more conversation, perhaps. Again, we brought up different topics and we, do we put this as on our sheet to update for a draft 2, perhaps? Do you have interest in adding these positions? It doesn't mean it's final. It means that you have interest if we can find savings elsewhere to put them back. Do you want to, or you can decide later, but if this is something that most of you would like to see, we can put it on that list. And then when we come back, we have both cuts and additions wherever you have, whether it's a reading program or addition, putting back positions or cutting something else. So I think it would be helpful. A couple of you have said, let's talk about this one thing. And are you mostly for it or against it? If we're mostly against it, then, or do we keep it as an outstanding item and just put it on that list for next time? So that we can then go and talk reading program or, whatever else you want.
We need a whiteboard.
I think we just need to prioritize our cost centers. So NIS seems to be a priority cost center.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has a priority cost center that we want to, I think, because if we can do like the top 3 cost centers, get those solidified, then the rest kind of falls into.
Lebanon is kind of important because we have big decisions to make in Lebanon. What we decide to do in Lebanon is going to affect their budget. So to me, that's a big one.
Okay, so
And we haven't even touched on it, so.
Also, like Ally mentioned, I would love to explore the grant writer position. I know you guys are stretched so thin in central office that the ability to have somebody doing that,
That's who was.
Is Sue not our grant writer?
well, but she has another job
That's
to
one
do.
of many jobs.
Yeah, we want a designated
So
grant.
Shannon, writes the EA grants and Sue does write some grants. But I think this position is thinking about, at least what it sounds like, is looking for other grant money, not just the federal
Yes.
funds that we get.
Yes.
But just, we had a position
We
similar to
did,
that.
long time ago.
Yeah, were some drawbacks to that position, which we can talk about, but we don't need to do that tonight. But
Right.
but certainly I have that listed as something that has been mentioned times.
And then the other high cost center item would be a reading curriculum, which I know when we had our presentation about the piloting programs, I don't even know if that's something our director of curriculum wants to move forward with this year, or if they want to pilot the program. I mean, it's an expensive investment. I don't know that a pilot is a bad thing. We don't want to go all in if we're not 100% sure.
Committee, if the committee's made up of teachers who know what they're doing. So
The program is new, right? Yeah, so.
right, but I trust it to be able to look at those programs and make an educated decision. So I think.
That's just not the recommendation. I don't know if that's what we got from the director of curriculum. So I would love their opinion on that.
Right, and it might be she said that because she didn't expect that we would actually be willing to spend the money.
Maybe
on
that's
it.
true. Yeah.
So there's.
Know what either one of those two programs might cost?
Yeah, can we chit chat?
Got my seat.
Yeah, you're out.
Thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
So, Dr. Swag will come up. Just really quickly, when we did talk about literacy, so I'll say this, I want to be clear, but I also want to say that one of the things that has come up before is that making sure that our staff have input and how that is very important. And I think we followed a really good trajectory with the math pilot moving into math adoption. And I don't know if we're in the same position right now as we were with math last year for literacy. And so I want to be cautious, we understand the desire and the need for a reading program, but we also want to make sure that our teachers are invested in that program and have actually piloted programs to know which one works the best for our students. So do you want to speak a little bit about, I think the question was the programs and then where we are.
To speak about the cost, because I think that's probably the best context to situate this in. The most expensive program of the three that we're considering, and remember, I'm not just doing this K-5, I'm doing a K-8 review. So you're looking at, I'd say $500,000 to be safe. Last year, when we did the math review, it was with middle school. Middle school, high school. So grades 6 through 8. There's only 2 teachers per grade. So there's 8 teachers. They were part of the whole curriculum process from start to finish. When you get to curriculum reviews at the elementary level, how many elementary teachers do we have?
More than 8.
Yes. So the committee is a subset of our teacher population. We can't obviously have everyone be involved, and we have administrators involved as well. So we go through a very similar process, but with elementary, you run into this, and we've run into these issues in the past where teacher buy-in is so critical. And so often what has occurred prior to me being in this role as well, is you do your curriculum review at the elementary level, and then often, not always, but often, you do a larger scale pilot so teachers who weren't involved in the curriculum process really could have that hands-on experience as well. So that is just one option that has occurred. When I did my budget, I did think about that as that's how it's typically gone. And so we would most likely extend for a larger scale pilot next year. And I was also being mindful of the cost. And now I'm also being reflective of what the board members are saying. So I think Denise and I are going to brainstorm a little bit about finances, but I think we're still very much in the thick of it. I know when I spoke Saturday, the workshop, Josh, you were asking, well, it sounds like the programs are all similar. And to an extent, but there are some differences and some contain components that others don't. And it's just a lot. So we're in the thick of it. The committee is feeling excited and, excited about the future. I just think we need to continue our process and to continue to keep you guys updated. And you need to continue to keep me updated on your fiscal priorities, and that'll help steer the ship, I think. Ally?
If you had like a magical $500,000 right now, I shouldn't put it that way, but which is your preference? Would you want to go move forward with it this year or no? With whatever program you decide, or do you want to pilot this year?
I think right now to answer that question is hard. In like a month and a half, I feel like I'd have a better idea of what the teachers felt. But so last year when we did the 6 to 8 math, what I put in my budget was the worst case scenario. I didn't know what we were going to go with then because these cycles do not align well for me. So, but I planned for worst case scenario, and we were by end of May or mid-May, we had made a decision. Budget was already passed and everything, but a similar thing could occur. If we put the money in, it'll be there.
Would it be easy enough to put out a poll?
Yeah, and that would be, yes.
And just see, basic yes or no. Would you be comfortable? Or do you prefer the pilot?
So that's in the plans right now. Our current committee, we're doing a small unit pilot right now. We're coming back together after that, and then we were going to pull the larger staff. And the committee members have been keeping their teams up to date on what's been going on. We'd all try to get in some presentations for larger staff as well, but it's just a lot to think about, but exciting as well.
So from your perspective, though, these pilots have a purpose that are to identify which one teachers find best. So if we jumped that and just said, we're going to buy one, how would the general population of teachers know which one they really wanted if nobody's had a chance to pilot and have conversations about them?
It does help generate buy-in, which is critical. And just leave it at that. Yes. I don't know what your thoughts are about budgetary.
I have no thoughts.
I have no thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just two things, knowing how tight things are now. I'm definitely weary of spending 100,000 this year and then 500,000 next year. I know that we have $100,000 to give. And the second thing that I would say is there is a sense of urgency. We should feel a sense of urgency. And I'm sure our teaching staff feels a sense of urgency, and to prolong it another year.
I'm hearing, I hear that.
That's it. So.
To be clear, the 100,000 you spend during the pilot year does cover a significant amount of the costs of the 500,000 total, correct? You get a lot of them.
Piloting multiple programs.
If we did multiple, it would be more. If we ended up going with one of those programs, yes, those one-time purchases. And right now, that's what I'm kind of piecemealing out for all three. What are one-time purchases? What are the recurring? And how could we get creative?
And what I would say to that is our healthy fund balance may be a partial answer for the one-time purchase costs. It wouldn't be a good use of recurring costs. So the amount we'll pay every year to have this program. But if there are one-time materials, supplies, things like that, the fund balance could cover that. And just something to think about if that's how you want to use those funds.
So my question is really for Shannon.
Loud.
Sorry.
Sorry, the people in the back, they're
I
here.
know, I
Come on.
know. I So the three that you're looking at, how did you come up with those three? Because I'm sure that there's a plethora of choices. How did
We not have that, can I just ask that we not have that conversation now because that's a meeting specific and we're talking budget. Let's stay focused. I'm sorry. It's a question for another time. That's my opinion.
I can answer it another time.
Okay. I'll be asking you another time.
Thank you.
I had a question about something. There was a expensive projector mentioned from the tech department. Do we know how much that is?
Just talk to me again about what you.
She had mentioned I'm sorry. I think I'm all set. Oh my God. Wait, so just to follow back, if if we need like a day, there we know if we put in this massive amount.
And so from what I just heard from you guys before I came up is that right now, aren't you agreeing on like some top priorities that will be continued? I think this is one that will be continued on Tuesday or Thursday. I think if it is a priority, then we follow what I did last year with the math, which is I put in max, we figure out how to fund it. But also, once we've done our unit pilot, I'll have more teacher feedback, but I think, anyway, I'm rambling.
Yes, thank you.
That would be my concern is that I don't want it to look like the board is making sort of a micromanaging decision without teacher input.
Yeah. And I could do it sooner than after the pilot, if it would be helpful for the teacher.
I would love to see that.
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
Fast. Get it out there.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
So Denise, there was a projector that's flickering.
Thank you.
And it's in the technology budget and it was just mentioned in passing. It's a very expensive projector.
Okay.
So I want to know exactly how much that is.
Okay.
I mean, are we talking like 50,000 or are we talking like 10,000? Very expensive.
Okay.
I know some things can be crazy. I saw the cost of lights and it shocked me, so.
We haven't gotten a quote, but we estimate it to be around $3,000, whereas the average projector is closer to 100. So it's really expensive compared to your classroom, but
Nothing really.
enough to save us and buy a curriculum.
Actually,
Mine.
Bridget.
I was thinking more halftime assistant principal.
Only because I'm now looking at my notes. So on that topic, so that line item is going from 8,700 to 71,820. So an increase of 63,000. That include, so I think that was probably part of that. That included the projector. Can you remind us what else that increase was for?
I have that. It looks like a lab renewal for about.
So the reason that is going up in our local budget is because we're moving off our lease into the local budget, which saves us hundreds of thousands.
25.
Okay.
Years of
25.
interest. So we're looking at a small increase for the gain of future increase. So our CAD lab is due for a renewal. That's about 30%, PC desktop computers actually. And the devices, our central office staff is due for renewal. So we do all of our Windows machines in 1 year. That's give or take.
We have E-rate IDF cabinets.
Yeah, so E-rate is a government grant that we pay. We pay 40%, they pay 60%. Our network equipment right now is in closets at schools, but it's also fairly exposed, so anyone can go into the closet and like yank cords. So our project this year is to put cabinets in to make them more secure. That's not only a network security thing, but also a cybersecurity thing. So no one can plug it to our network.
Thank you.
Sorry, I know it's, yeah.
No, I just, so since you mentioned that, I was like, wait, no, that was a big jump and I have notes, but I didn't know. Yes.
We're all in the same boat as far as costs.
Oh, so really.
So it sounds like Noble Intermediate School, Hanson School, grant writer position, and the reading curriculum are 4 topics for priority.
I would like Excel to be discussed too. We still haven't talked. I haven't talked about Excel yet.
Nancy, I think, mentioned SRO.
List. I think I'll just give it to you.
We, again, the more you know what you want to discuss, the better we can prepare for you. So it's a productive conversation.
And we have 2 days.
I know, like we like,
I mean,
almost need a
2 days.
whiteboard or something where we can start making decisions here. Like we can talk things to death, but at some point we got to make some decisions.
So,
And none of them are going to be easy and pleasant. Let's just.
so I think,
We have a transportation if we wanted to have.
Yeah, I do have a transportation question. The budget's gone up the past 3 years overall. Do we know?
Just the budget itself or the taxpayer burden?
Yeah,
Give me a minute and I
I want
can.
to know what's been improved the past few years.
So starting in fiscal 25
Yeah. Well,
or 4?
24, yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, there are files. Why don't you guys can continue to maybe make a list and I will get you that.
I have a question. You guys worked really hard to bring the budget down last year. I mean, you really did. And then you did the same thing do you see a light at the end of the tunnel? I mean, are we going to ever level off so that we can actually start building back in some of what I call the luxury items, the extras?
Right now, no.
No,
Right. I mean, we've got a lot ahead of us, right? We've got to look at some aging buildings, we've got enrollment issues, we've got all of that. That's why we're hoping, like, as a small part of that, the 279, the revision.
Yeah, it would be nice. Can I just add that I looked at the FTEs? No, I did. I think it was the FTEs from 2018 to 2027. Full-time employee database on the whatever site it was on. Our numbers of staff have not changed a great deal, but our enrollment numbers have gone down quite a bit. Would that not indicate that perhaps we could eliminate some of the staffing without it hurting the district? I mean, again, just to get this budget down until we can start building back up again.
I think what we'll see in the future budgets is that, because what's happened is, like, if you recall, at the elementary levels, there were, because of enrollment, there were, some schools that had 5 teacher reductions and one and everything. So as we're going up at the grade levels, they're getting closer to the high school, right? So that's when you're going to start seeing in the middle high school, some of that adjustment that the elementary schools have had to make.
I'm wondering more about the social workers and the guidance counselors and maybe, and I don't know about the OT and the PT, but I was wondering if we could make, I know it's hard. But remember, I worked in Farmington, New Hampshire. I know what poverty is. And we made lots of sacrifices and lots of concessions and we worked really hard and we survived. And I'm just wondering if right now with this budget, this is a serious budget. I mean, everybody's hurting. The towns are hurting as well. So I just wonder if we can look at it and see it not as a permanent sacrifice, but as just we've got to get someplace where we get to 49 last year. Congratulations. But we need to keep kind of going back that way. And I was looking, as I said, with the FTEs, with the numbers are almost the same, but the enrollment numbers are considerably different. And I just think maybe we could look at some of our staffing, like the guidance counselor that's retiring. Maybe we don't need to replace that guidance counselor with a little bit of a savings there. I'm looking now. Remember when we got the Leachfield paid by little digging up some money here? Well, that's what I'm looking at. Can we just pull from here and here and here?
I think that's
excellent. Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking at. And thank you for the paperwork, because we have some of the articles, the instructional, Article 1 instruction is at 2.7. That's not a bad increase if you follow the CPI. Okay. But then we have some that are 7%, 6%. Maybe we should look at those and see if those are the, what do you call them, cost centers, and try to see if we can whittle away just a starting place. Because if we just keep talking about, back and forth, we're not going to get this budget done.
Right, and that's why we'll have that list.
Thanks.
In addition to the priority list for discussion, you have a list of, as
as you said, like we're constantly culling through these budgets to look at.
The proposed additions and subtractions. Can we get them in the cost centers? Like, could you Excel sheet it so that there's a heading for each cost center and we can see the pluses and minus under each cost center? I think that would help us. I think that would help us a lot.
I think, it may be something that would, I think that getting a list and trying to estimate costs for whatever we're looking at, is going to be the challenge for the coming Tuesday meeting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
But because we haven't decided anything yet. So it's hard for me to go back and quantify things, but it's not, for example, it's not just Excel, it's add an Excel director, add a teaching staff, add 2 days of this. Those are things I can quantify more easily.
That's what I was looking for, like the individual things, like, can you just, like a rough estimate, within 10,000 or whatever. And that,
So I can certainly, I will give it my best effort and I think it will grow as the conversations continue. And we know, because even looking at this conversation tonight, we talked about a lot of things and wanting to add back at the intermediate school, a lot of positions. But then we kind of went back and said, well, I think if bar is the thing, then the 2 positions are. So that's something that's easier for me to quantify. Again, I can tell you 540,000 for all 6, but where are you guys landing? So it can be a live document and then we can go through during the meeting.
Yep.
And do those things if that.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, yep, I will prepare that.
And I think put estimate at the top, so you're not killing yourself to come up with specifics.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yes.
We know your attention to detail, but I think we're all okay to just get rough ideas.
And this is a fair question. What I thought I heard you say was the individual items are the easy things to estimate, but the overall category is the hard thing. That's what I thought I heard you say. And if I misunderstood,
Way, just make it
sorry.
easy on yourself.
Not the category so much, it's exactly what are you looking for? You know, the concept of a grant writer. Okay, that's fine. I need to build into the software. What are we looking to pay a grant writer? And therefore, if they have benefits, what is that total cost? Until we figure out what we want to pay that person, I'll have a difficult time coming up with a number. If it's.
That might be a question mark beside that. We don't know the cost.
Correct.
You know, it's around 100. I mean, give or take.
So we can, yeah, so we'll get, but as we talk through and you say, well, I think, $60,000 is an appropriate amount, then I can go back to my office. We can build that position just to get the estimate, and then I'll have a better estimate.
We just need a ballpark for this.
Exactly, but
Ballpark.
again, with benefits and things, it's easier for me to go back and like create something. So we'll do our best.
I just wanted to circle back to the increase from 2025, 2024.
Yes, so I think, and again, I'm looking at some internal documents. I believe fiscal 24 increase was 5.31 to taxpayers. And again, that's the bottom percentage. I think fiscal 25 was 7.48. And fiscal 26 was 6.93. I will double check those numbers because the last couple of years we've had these last minute additions and I want to make sure, I'm pretty sure I updated through all these things again, but I want to double check. So I'll make sure for the next meeting.
You say bottom percentages towards the town, so that'd be North
So
Berwick.
that includes school nutrition and adult ed. So you have the percentage on expenses.
Yeah.
You have the percentage for school operations. And then down at the bottom where you include school nutrition and adult education increases and decreases.
Is this total for the town or just the school budget?
That's the town.
Town,
So
okay.
that's Bottom line.
So we had it go through, I mean, the majority of the population voted through 7.48. It's not that far away to have a 9% increase.
I think people are feeling, I think,
So
People are
I don't
hurt.
think it's unheard of, but I think this year people are feeling last year's increases. But it's not just the school, the towns also went up, like the town went up, at least, I know for our town, went up. It was pretty,
A lot.
yeah, pretty significant. So I think that people are definitely feeling last year's increases. So I do think that we need to be careful about what we present this year.
Especially considering wages are not keeping up with the increases.
And I think you need to fight it from the bottom.
Well, I think you have a good point, Ally. We do all need to be using our voice at state level to make sure education is getting there.
And I think that we can also do, like to your point earlier, Peg, I think we can do our job to get to what we think is a great budget to present. And then if people want to come to the meeting and if the majority vote to add some of these programs back in, then they have that option. And then it really is them speaking up for it instead of us assuming that they're going to come, and we might need to make those decisions too.
That's fair, except I think those people didn't go away. So the issues they brought to us, I assume, are still important to them.
Yeah.
Right, do we have all the topics that you want us to research, you know, even if it's something you think is minor?
I do have, for transportation, it's the vans. I have a question about how, who's going to be driving those and what kind of significant impact do we think purchasing vans is going to have in our current transportation problems? I just struggle to take on more leases if it's not really going to solve any problems. So I do have questions about that.
How many kids in a minibus versus?
I mean,
how
are we
many
talking 15
van?
kids? I don't know.
Because part of that was you don't need a CDL to drive the van.
Right,
So
so
it
it's
was,
15 kids.
but it
It's
was
not like a busload.
Yeah.
So
count.
I just want to make sure it's going to have some kind of significant impact.
Yeah, do multiple, yeah.
But then
So I think
multiple gas and
Yes, one of the things,
If you don't have
I can speak of this because when I was a transportation director in Western Pennsylvania, we used vans a lot because the roads, my whole district was like Lebanon, my entire district, and it was larger than this district. Okay. I used the vans to do the dirt roads that were long. Right. They would pick up a few kids and then they would meet the bus at its stop. Bus would let the van pull out in front of it. The van would race ahead, go pick up some other kids. Right. So I was reducing the amount of time
Yeah, that's
kids were on the bus by using a van, right? I don't know if that's exactly what we but that's something that could be utilized. And you need a van to do that. You need people to do that. And we can start, it's possible that we can reduce some minutes off of our long bus rides by not having the buses do every small road if there's a couple kids in a small road, you know what I mean? But the vans, they work together. The van and the bus work together, and one van fed multiple bus routes. For me, just kind of depended, timing. This bus comes in here, this bus comes in here, timing wise. So I don't know if that's what the plan is, but that's how I used it. That's how I was hoping that the vans might be used.
I like that idea. I think part of it too was that if a bus wasn't, like if there was not a driver with a CDL available, then it sounds like
that don't have a ride.
yes, it sounds like we do have a large portion of parents who were able to make sacrifices to get kids to school, and there's a small portion that don't make.
So it gets those kids.
Yeah.
The reason I brought it up is that it is like now, as opposed to bullying, transportation is
It's huge.
the biggest
It's a-
topic I hear about. So I think we need to address those things that are biggest concern to people in the district.
We're not going to magically find bus drivers. Like they're not just going to appear. So keeping our, as many as we can, always being on the lookout, but this gives us maybe some options. One of the vans of the four, one of them is a replacement for a van they use with MHA because they don't think it's going to pass inspection next year. So it's time to replace it. So that's one. And then we have the three others in theory for the three towns. But to your point, Josh, we could, target these longer bus rides in all the towns and do it that way. So however that works out. Not my specialty.
Before we get off transportation, have we made progress in the survey? Do we have a draft for the board to look at? And, okay, thank you.
I think Sue was waiting. I thought you had some questions you may want added.
Oh, she was waiting on me to send questions?
Denise,
We'll finalize that.
in the facilities maintenance,
Oh, wait, transportation.
it's just real quick. And you'll go ahead if you want.
No, go.
I just wanted to know why the telephone expense went up $30,000.
We moved it out of technology. It's for hotspots. So we moved it under that telephone for the district. And you'll see a decrease, I believe, in the
I did.
technology budget.
I was surprised to see that major
Mhm.
increase there. Sorry.
That's okay.
That was,
Transportation is adding 26,361 for a snow blower.
Yes.
$7,923.92 for a salt spreader.
Yes.
So I feel like, and it's because the reasoning for that was because maintenance, they were using it at the same time. I feel that that is a time management issue. I mean, really, we get 10 snow days a year out of 185. And I feel like maintenance could time manage their use of the snow blower and share that with transportation.
Or just get transportation another snow blower, 'cause I know theirs broke,
No,
right?
that's the 26,000 is.
Oh, that's the 26.
That's the
Yeah.
26,000.
I mean,
That's-
Did they have a hand push one before, or did they have a home? Right, so is it an option to do that again?
I'm not using mine, they can have mine.
Yeah,
Time.
so we can, why don't we
These,
bring that?
all those things. that
Okay,
we
yes.
teach.
That was one of, I'm glad you brought that up, Marcia, 'cause that was in my.
The maintenance, because maintenance does take care of the garage, right?
No,
The issue
they
is
don't. That's because they are clearing the sidewalks of the high school to open on time. They are trying to
Because
clear
it's
the buses.
management, right?
No, they can't use the snow blower in both places, and they don't have enough time if they clear out transportation to clear out the high school in time.
They come in at the same time, but if they come in 2 hours earlier, then yes, they could do it.
What if the snow doesn't end until 6 o'clock in the morning?
That's sad. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
it's nice on Saturday.
It's 10 days a year. Like, that's just how life is. Sometimes you wake up early to,
I agree. I'm not.
Well, you're
driving.
driving, like, what-
No, 10 days. I agree with
I
you.
just feel like it's not, like, the garage isn't in another, like, part of town. They pass the garage, the transportation garage doing their job. I just thought as a budget wise, it's not $1 million. It's
Yeah, I'd
30,
like to
it's
see it cheaper.
Little dollars, we could.
$30,000. It's not $1 million. I definitely feel like it's more of a time management considering it's only 10 days a year. I'm only young because I don't have like.
Krista, where are you getting 10 days a year?
Like this year, it only snowed over 2 inches, 6 days. So let's do an extra 4 days of snow. Right, like, this is snow blowing, like, I know it snows in New England, but not every day.
It's a
This
safety
isn't
issue
like an
for
every
me.
day.
I think it's a safety issue. I don't think it's enough of a.
We don't even have to, does the transportation have a maintenance crew?
No.
They have a snow crew, a snow group.
Is that under the facility?
Clear some of it. No, it's under transportation. So it's the snow crew. And they,
Because when I looked at the list of people, we had mechanics, but we didn't have a maintenance crew.
It's drivers
it's
that.
the drivers that come.
It's the drivers that do it.
They get reimbursed.
Why are the drivers coming in and snow blowing their property when we hire maintenance people to do that?
I just think it's bigger property. I mean, everybody, you can't get enough done unless you, what I thought I was hearing you say was, let's just have more snow days.
No.
Because
No.
you know, they can only be in one place at a time still. I
Still-
get that we could have them come in early, but then you're paying overtime.
I don't know that, then they just leave 2 hours earlier in the day. I mean,
Well,
maybe,
no, they can't.
maybe I look at it, no, not drivers, the maintenance,
But
like,
that's who's doing, oh, you mean if maintenance took over?
maybe I'm looking at it as like, I work 8 hours a day, and if I have to get something done, I come in 2 hours earlier and.
But they still have other jobs. I think that you're probably adding overtime because they still have other jobs they need to.
10
It doesn't
days,
go away 'cause
10 days
of
of
snow.
the year.
Right.
Maybe what we ought to be doing is also looking at a less expensive snow blower.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, maybe,
Gotten by with a.
no, I mean, if,
Let's have a conversation perhaps with Jeremiah, who is responsible for this property and the cleaning of the buses and everything, and let him come in, and then you, based on what he says, you guys can talk about whether it's getting rid of it and coordinating better with maintenance, a less expensive option, whatever that is. Why don't we have that? Why don't we do that to
Thank you.
answer everybody's questions about it?
Okay, Noble Intermediate School, Hanson School, grant writer, reading curriculum, Excel, SRO, transportation, vans, as well as the snow removal.
Yep, those are good.
Audra, on the first, we have a discussion question for follow-up list that you gave us with a very gentle reminder not. Remember? Can we go through that? I mean, can you go through that and see if those have been answered? And if they haven't, can you?
Discussion follow-up?
The first, yeah, the discussion follow-up page. Just, some of them have been done, you know,
Lebanon Library Move. That's one that we said we're trying to gather. Still.
Yeah, it's stuff that you might be able to, not for Tuesday perhaps, but maybe for Thursday, just send us an email with the information so we
What's our
can.
last two? Is it Tuesday and Thursday our last two?
No.
No? Okay. Those are our two last major
Gotta know
working
when it,
ones.
yes.
Tuesday. Okay.
That's what I'm asking. In order for what you need to
Some
know
of
as far
it's
as
been
dates.
done.
Yes,
I just thought maybe we could just write that and then,
we can update this document. Yes, we'll update.
and if it can be done via email, so much the better, because that seems to be, and then I think Melissa, you had a bunch of questions that,
I did.
And they were
And
answered.
they've been slowly answering me. So
They were all on the document you got received last night. Yesterday, you received documents and
did I miss a document last? No, I don't know. I'll look.
it was like,
Them wouldn't
pertain to that.
open, two of them wouldn't open.
I had to download it.
What did you download it as?
I don't know. I just hit download and then it popped
I had
up on the top of my screen. and I
Okay.
clicked
Just save the downloads.
Yeah.
Mine is making me choose a program.
Look.
And then I
don't-
couldn't choose the right program to not just get script.
Okay, because that's what I was worried
Not all,
about.
most.
And then I have a list here that I'm going to leave with Denise.
Well, it's the little
Denise,
things like
this with you.
ethics and the wet, like, have we tried
Yeah,
to
what
apply
would-
for a grant? Little
we did
things like that.
What would this, if we did?
we talked about, can you, we're
Say
not.
that again, you have a list, questions?
Items that, what would it cost if we added, what would it cost? if
Maybe
we Took it away.
Okay,
I'll just give it to you.
okay.
Haven't
And I'll give it to Audra, just so
Can be not, I don't know.
in place, but yeah, we'll take a look at that. Did you send it, Audra?
Last night.
5:13.
I mean, I got your email, but it didn't have that.
I think I just got.
It has 5 attachments.
I don't have it either.
I don't want it on the item.
Wait a minute.
I just want to know if we took.
Yeah,
This.
that was, I have the 1.5, but that's not.
Should have been.
Okay.
There.
We'll reset.
You get-
I said
That's
I used the category.
I can't get.
Figured I just.
Okay, so what I'm handing out, you
I
received
don't-
this, I believe you received this last night. However, I thought you received those those answers. These are, Nancy, what you had asked for.
I got mine.
Right, I'm just
mean-
handing out hard copies.
Okay.
You want to just
Oh, see,
put
I
them
don't-
in your binder?
Those are my favorite papers.
Everybody has their own.
The article.
Doesn't have.
I have a question about that spreadsheet, the mortgage about it. The one where we're going to talk about what is the current and if we add and subtract. Josh, did you want by budget category? Or did you want by cost center?
Those are articles, the amortization.
By article.
Jerry.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's what I was talking about, by article. I gotta know that's by article.
One of the PDFs. Okay, so these are the two, okay, these are the two that won't open. Obvious, thank you.
And then here, these are your articles. Ask for amortization.
Amazing.
I guess my question is transparency wise, because we should be conducting business publicly. If we do come up with a question or position we want to look into or something like that, knowing probably after tonight, it's not going to be ready for Tuesday and that's okay. Is it okay to email that to you guys to have that information sooner, to have it ready for next Thursday?
I mean,
As long as we're not having discussion, we can send a
Something-
question.
And something that's going to be easy, like here, I'll be able to tell you how much. And then other things, if there are further questions, we can talk about it Tuesday so that it's ready for Thursday.
Okay.
But yes, anything in, we'll do our best. Like,
Okay.
we were working through questions today, so.
Thank you.
Have we confirmed a meeting on Tuesday?
Jen sent out the agenda.
Yeah.
6:00.
So it's official?
I don't know that I can do that.
Right.
So I saw that today, but I don't know that I can, do that. I'll be in New Jersey. Yeah, I don't know.
In-house or remote?
In-house.
In-house.
Is it still 5 for policy? Because I thought it was going to be 5 for policy and.
Which would mean policy probably should be in person. Right.
We could drive and do it at the same time.
That's gonna give.
You're remote. Good one.
Okay.
We have lists and things to discuss. or-
And it doesn't
or
mean
more
it's
prep
the
time.
left.
That's a fair question.
Legitimate things to discuss for the workshop.
Yeah,
Yeah, on
we're
Tuesday,
gonna-
if we're saying, or do you guys need more prep time?
I think there's enough that we can discuss. It's 2 hours flew by for me. So just so we are aware, so we have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, which is an additional one. We have a meeting scheduled for Thursday. the following Thursday, April 2nd, I believe, we have to approve a budget so that we can get it to attorneys on Friday, the 3rd. So we can still have to sign them the following week, which is an off week, but we still need to sign them. And then that gets us on our way. We do have the option, I guess, if the Tuesday before we have to approve, if we can't get it done next Thursday, do you want to consider having another Tuesday? I know nobody wants to, but.
We can't get it done, we may have.
The 30.
But the thing is, you have to post an agenda, right, with
Yeah.
early, so we would need to, on Tuesday, talk about it.
The
Or
31st,
or
we're looking at.
put it on now, and if we cancel,
Because we're allowed to
don't need
cancel
it,
it. Yeah.
cancel.
You can cancel.
Personally, I'd rather placeholder.
Yes.
So maybe, we can do that.
So Tuesday, Thursday, or- sorry.
Tuesday and Thursday, the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then the following week,
Let's try not to meet that Tuesday.
Yeah. Here. Then that following week, so the week we approve the budget is April 2nd, so that's technically the first meeting of the month.
Yes.
We'll have to come in that second week of the month to sign all the paperwork, which will be an off week, so I don't know how that affects the board meeting schedule, but I'll just throw that out
Will be
right now.
one agenda item.
Okay,
So
and so you would still have the third week
That's when you pass it all around with a pen.
Yeah. I think it's a hand crank.
signed in the same line.
You do an online signature. I
Remember that.
right, right.
Um,
So some of our board members won't be here, so can they do an electronic signature?
I have to refresh my memory on the rules on that. I think it's not an electronics. You're not here that Thursday, but you're in around that week, or you're not there that week or that following week, or what's?
I'm gone from the 6th to the 13th.
Okay, so let me check with the attorneys on the rules on that, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
It just needs to be a quorum in order to kind of move the process forward. But I believe that there was a year, within the last couple years where somebody needed to come in could come in after the fact. But I don't remember if that was signing off on the results or it was signing off on this part. Like, I don't remember what part it was.
I think it was the results.
I think you're right.
So I need to check on that. So I'll put that on my list of things.
Timeline wise, the meeting on the 2nd, obviously, I hope we're not like still hashing things, but we just need to leave that meeting with an agreed upon. So we still are able to have just, I hope we're not.
We'll say
We're
yes.
like, as far as.
We'll say yes.
timeline.
What
Okay.
it means is I have to go back and fix whatever we change that night. So in the morning, we can get it to the attorneys. So I would love
Go to that meeting.
I would love to be going to that meeting with a number, and you just simply, as part of the budget process, make a motion, we approve the budget in X number of dollars. However, there are 3 things I think we need to do. That's ideal. We have in the past added things that last meeting. I think last year it was intramurals. So we can do it. It just makes it a little bit harder. But again, the most important thing is that we get a budget passed. So I'm happy to do that. But again, if we don't need to, that'd be awesome too. But yeah.
Good. I'm making a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded. All those in favor? And the motion passes.